for him a little while. Okay, Cayden is online already.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, something wrong with my PC.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, so Cayden is back finally. I thought something happened to you because there was one
So
comment
sorry.
saying that you are never late. So I
Yeah,
was
I'm
quite
never late.
worried
I'm
that
never late. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
always
so
on
something
time.
happened to you. So yeah, so I think we can kickstart this session. So for those who just joined or who don't know who Cayden is, I just do a very quick introduction of Cayden over here, right? So Cayden is the founder of the Value Investing Academy, which has a presence in over 11 cities in Asia. And Cayden graduated with 3 degrees, okay, a Bachelor of Science with honors also, and a Master of Science degree in the e-business from NUS. And he has also trained in value investing by Professor Bruce Greenswell in Columbia University, as well by Professor George Adanesco, the finance professor who holds the Ben Graham Chair in Value Investing at the Richard Ivers School of Business. And he has been featured more than 30 times, okay, in various social media channels and also in the traditional media such as television, radio station, magazines, which include in Singapore, Malaysia, Cambodia, Hong Kong, and Japan. And he has survived cancer 3 times and has written 2 books to raise money for charity. He has also established an endowment fund with Singapore Management University called the Cayden Chang Inspire Award in 2016, okay, to help financially challenged students. And tonight, he's going to share with you the secrets of autopilot investing and how to beat most of the fund managers out there in the market. So tonight, he'll share with you, right, the Warren Buffett endorsed method to invest in autopilot and how $100 per month, just $100 per month, okay, can help you kickstart your investing journey. And there'll be 5 fresh new investment ideas for the end of the year, okay? So with that, Cayden, I don't want to delay the time, okay? The stage is yours. Okay, let's try to share the screen share, see whether it works for you.
Okay, now the screen is up.
Audio, okay? Audio for the video later.
Audio should be okay. Don't worry.
Okay, so with that, I shall pass the stage to Cayden. So I will come back again when there's a Q&A later. Thanks, Cayden.
Okay, thank you, Alex. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on time. My apologies, because I have a problem with my PC, so I had to restart a couple of times. Yep, so thanks for waiting, right? So ladies and gentlemen, let's start. Now, what's going to happen in the next 1 hour or 1.5 hours is going to be very exciting because in investing, right, unfortunately, most people lose money. Yeah, most people lose money. Yeah. So I'm going to share with you a method to buy something that is interesting where there is only one direction, which is up. So in addition to the journey that what Alex had just shared, right? So I'll share with you very quickly and maybe in 5 minutes about my investing journey. But before that, can I just double check that all of you can hear me, right? If you can hear me, maybe you can type in the chat. Maybe just type 1 so that I know you can hear me. Hear me? Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, so thank you. So let's start, right? Just to let you know that I started investing, so-called investing in inverted commas, right, when I was age 24 plus. 24 plus. So that was all the way in 1995. Time really flies. I wish I could turn back time when I was much younger. So very quickly, this is my journey, right? So the first bad thing that happened to me in so-called investing was the 1997 Asian financial crisis. So that's one. Then after that, followed by the dot-com. Now, if you know this and if you know this, most likely you belong to my generation. Okay, so dot-com bubble burst, right? Then, of course, subsequently, during the dot-com, right? So I lost quite a bit of money, right? In fact, 100% of all my money. Luckily, the money was about, let me write this down, right? Was about 50K. 50K. Now, 50K, I'm not very sure what does it mean to you, right? But during my time, 50K to me was all I have. So that was quite a big deal to me. So it came out in the papers, which is what Alex was sharing. Yeah. That was the dot-com. So when the dot-com bubble burst, right, I realized that right now as I look back, it's like on hindsight, right? When I look back, actually this period for the dot-com, for the Asian economic crisis during this period, actually I wasn't really investing. Actually, I was gambling. Yeah. So the dot-com bubble burst actually taught me something that I'm not investing. I'm speculating. Yeah, speculating. I was gambling. So from this point onwards, I realized that something what I've done in the past was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. So I've lost money. I lost the time. Now, losing money when I was much younger, I think it's okay. Losing money when I was young, I'm losing money. But today, right, actually, I'm 52 years old. Let me put out this picture over here. Yeah, so 50. So right now, if I lose money, not only I lose money, I lose a lot of time. So I have to be very careful, right, that I don't lose time because I'm no longer like 24, 25. So I cannot lose money right now. So I have to be very careful. And just to let you know that there are about 100 people of you who are joining this class. And you see, whenever I share something, right, there are a couple of things. The first thing is I have to share what I'm doing. So I don't want to be academic. Like I share how it's like I'm telling you how to swim, but actually I never swam before. Yeah, so that's quite dangerous. The second thing is when I'm sharing something, there is a responsibility. A responsibility because number one, I'm responsible to MarketWise, the organizer. I'm responsible for Alex, and I'm also responsible to all of you because some of you may take what I do seriously. So if something that I've shared went wrong, right, then I cannot face you. You see. So one day if I walk down the street, you see me, you may start tossing me a rotten egg. Yeah, so it's very important that whatever I shared, it works with empirical evidence. I share with the source how do I know it works? And then at the end of the day, when I see you, I feel proud. Next time I can say, hey, don't Cayden, chit chat with you and so on. So it's very important. So this is my basis of doing things. The basis of doing things. So let me just continue, right? So from here onwards, I realized that I'm speculating. Yeah, so I need to move forward to become an investor. But the question is, I mean, I don't even know how to invest. What I mean by investor, which is why during the intro when Alex was saying, I went to a couple of places. Yeah, and of course, in the early days, we don't really have much training on investing. So what I did was I went to two universities. One is called the Columbia Business School. Yeah, Columbia Business School is where I learned value investing from. And of course, my teacher is Professor Bruce Greenwald. Value investing is created by Benjamin Graham. So it passed down all the way to Bruce Greenwald, and Bruce Greenwald was my professor. If I recall correctly, I think right now he's retired already. He's quite old. And one day I'll grow old soon. Yeah. Then I also went to Canada. Canada University is called University of Western, right? Western Ontario. And of course, because it's one university, there's a school, right? So the school is called Ivy Business School. So I went over there and I learned value investing from another professor called Professor George Thanasakos. Yeah, he's originally from Greece. Yeah. So of course, it doesn't mean that I go university, got a piece of paper, it's a big deal, right? Then I suddenly become a very rich. So a lot of things is, if you take a course it's theory, if put it into practice is a separate thing, which is why I need to share with you, these are the four economic crises that I've been through. And some of you may see some of me, like some of my stories on articles. This from Hong Kong. I even wrote a book in Japan, right? So all the royalties have been donated to Children Cancer Association in Japan. Yeah. So these are the media and so on. Okay, very quickly. Yeah. Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah, you see now, now as I look at all these photos, it's a small little milestone that I have. But of course, over time, as I grow older, I think family is important. Yeah, there's no point going back home with a lot of money, right? And then it's an empty house. No point. So right now, I value relationship more, which is why whatever I share has to work with evidence. So in summary, right, I've been through right, six economic crises. Four economic crises and then six bear market. And all this really taught me a lot, that investing is really a long-term game. Long-term game, right? So let me just continue. This is one article that was published some time ago, and all of you will know that in 24 February 2023, our core inflation rate actually rises to 55.5%, the highest since 2008. And that is a 15-year high. Yeah, in short, it's quite high. And recently, it just tapered down to about 3.8. Now, but just to let you know that core inflation number like 5.5 is a bit misleading because most people have no idea what's core inflation. They only know that if this inflation goes up, it's a bad thing, which is okay. And if the inflation comes down, right, it's a good thing. But they don't really know what's this core inflation. And the second thing is if you go to the coffee shop, the noodles maybe used to be $3. Suddenly it went up to $4. So 3 to 4 is about 33%, right? It doesn't seem like 5.5 and 3.8%. Now, the reason why is because core inflation don't really reflect the things that we are consuming on the ground. Yeah, on ground, right? So they have a separate number, right, called consumer price index over here. So this is the one more reflective, but again, this is the academic. I just find that on the ground, it's more expensive, it's higher than what I read online. So for example, the food that you say increased 6.7%, but I don't think so. Recently I went to drink a cup of teh, all right, it used to be 120, then after that it goes up to 130, 10 cents. But 10 cents don't seem like it's 6.7%, it seems like it's more. And then transport 6.8%, I also don't feel so. If I take a Grab, I don't think it increased by 6.8%. Yeah, so again, all these are numbers. I think at the end of the day, is what we face that's more important. All these are for academic. In real life, I feel that it's more. Yeah, so but what does it mean to all of us, right? So for example, I would assume that out of the 100 plus of you, most of you get the compensation, right? Because we have a role to play in organization. So that's fine. So we work, we have salary, we have work, we have salary. But where do we put our salary? Huh? So I've just recently updated this slide. Huh? Our special account base interest has increased a bit from original 4%, right, to zero with an additional 0.04%. Yeah, so if you look at 0.04, of course we can say that it's better to have than don't have, right? But what can 0.04 help in a way? So in other words, salary comes in, yes, it's good. Portion of it goes to CPF, yeah. And then core inflation, right, that we have to face is about 3.8, yes. People who are more financially literate, right, they may consider placing money, right, in the bank where they have more advanced scheme, where, like, for example, if the salary is like 100K and above, swipe more credit card and so on, they have a higher interest payment scheme. And then, of course, if other people may also invest in something called SGS bond, which is Singapore Government Security Bonds or a Singapore Saving Bonds. So 1.875% is the latest one that I saw. This is for SGS bonds, and this is Singapore Saving Bonds. Yeah. So 1.8, about 3.16. And T-bills, right, which is treasury bills, the latest one that I saw is about 3.73. So if you look at all this thing, whether it's here, or here, right? Now, these two instruments are protected by the government. So now is your capital protected, which also means that you will never, ever lose money. Yeah, and of course, CPF, unless we pass away, right, this sum will always be there. So that's thankful to our government. Yeah, but there's nothing much they can do for here. Yeah, and except giving you some vouchers, a GST voucher, CDC voucher and so on. And recently, I think I read one article, right, that our Deputy Prime Minister is giving up more vouchers. Yeah, so all these are things that's happening around us, but we have to ask ourselves, the vouchers, right, that the government is trying to give us, is it enough? Is it enough? Huh? Maybe enough for the really, really low income, which most likely is not you. But for the middle income and higher, right, is it enough? Is it enough? Huh? And let's assume that if it's enough, then the question is 10 years, 20 years down the road, can it make all of us wealthy? Yeah, so it depending on expectation, right? Now, I like one country called Switzerland. That was one place that me and my wife has been to. When we were much younger, without any children. Yep. So whenever we go out, it's always Swiss Alps. Yeah, Swiss Alps, all the ice cap Alps and so on. So I think moving forward, it all depends on what kind of mountain do you want to see. Do you want to see a Swiss Alps mountain, or do you want to see Mount Faber? Yeah, if you want to see Mount Faber, maybe the things that we're having right now is enough. But if we are not, are there something outside what we know that we can explore? Okay, huh? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share 6 investments idea. Now, during the announcement, even though Alex shared 5 investment ideas, which is actually correct, right? So what I did was actually before he shared, I want to share additional one more. Somebody laugh. You all know what I mean. What kind of mountain you want to see? So I want to say something more diplomatic, right? Let's see. Okay, so other than the 5 investment ideas that Alex has promised, I also added another one. So this to bring value to the MarketWise Asia. Okay, so here is it. Now, if you look at this graph, do you notice that there's only one trend in the long run? Long run. Maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years in the long run. So the direction is up. Now, bearing in mind, right? Bearing in mind that before it goes up, in between, there's actually small little movement that goes up and down. Goes up and down, and so on. So why do I share with you this diagram? Previously, I bought one book called, it's a Chinese book. Yeah, Chinese book. Let me see whether it's here or not. Oh, yeah, it's here. Give me a second, right? So my table is quite messy at home. Yeah, lucky you can't see. Okay. Let me see whether you can see or not. Actually, okay, here you should be able to see. So it's a Chinese book, right? Unfortunately, there is an English version. So the Chinese is called 价值. So English it simply means value, right? And this book is written by actually a very famous value investor. That's provided you read Mandarin and then you are exposed to Mandarin writings. So this author, right, his name is called Zhang Lei. Zhang Lei. I don't know what is his Chinese name. Yeah, English, Zhang Lei. So Zhang Lei, So what he did was, in the very beginning, right, he shared his philosophy in investing. So he shared that whether we make money or not, right, the philosophy is very important. Like, for example, as a human being, if we are honest, if we are hardworking, if we have good relationship or people, over the long term, we should do well. Okay, over the long term, we should do well. Yeah, but in the short term, sometimes things may not be very clear. For example, in the short term, maybe you quarrel with your spouse, your partners, your children, your colleagues, or whatsoever. So in the short term, right, there's up and down. Up and down. But after quarreling, debating, arguing, all these things settle down, you put all your differences in place and then focus on what's good for us. Then in the long term, if we work together, right, in some ways, life should be better. Yeah, so I suppose, where are you right now, right? Life should be at least slightly better than in the past. So in between, we go through up and down like the share price. But this Zhang Lei was saying if our time horizon is being stretched, instead of 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, you stretch to 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, then things are easier to understand. Yeah, so things will be better. Like these 6 investment ideas that I'm going to share with you. So all these 6 investment ideas, I'll share with you which are the things I have. Yeah, this is not recommendation, so that when you consider, right, putting this as part of your retirement plan, then we can all sleep money. That's most important. And of course, make money while we sleep. And of course, we want to sleep comfortably. Okay. So to help the event organizer, right? So I think better read the disclaimer. So remember, my company, which is My Kinesis Investment, VIA, remember, I'm not operated by a broker, dealer, or registered financial advisor. So as much I want to share my experience, remember, under no circumstances does any information shared a represented recommendation to buy or sell, because I don't see you, you know what I mean? So in no event shall my company, as well as MarketWise, Alex, whoever that's involved, right, guest or third party for damages, any damages arising out of any kind, right, using out of the use of any content shared here. So holding very long, So in short, right, remember the information shared tonight is not intended to be, nor does it constitute investment advice or recommendation. So take note, this is very important, right? Okay, so let's get started. If you look at all these people who are the richest men in the world, right, their position always change. Even if I update, it's always the same faces. Yeah. So you may notice that every single one, without fail, right, they have one thing in common. And the one thing in common is every single one, right, is actually a business owner. Now, I shared this, everyone is a business owner. It sounds quite simple, like not a big deal, but it's actually quite a big deal. And the reason why I shared as a big deal, right, because as a working adult, there are only 2 categories we can belong to. One is we own a business, or we a business owner, or the other one is business owners. That means we work as employee. And of course, in the early days, when I went to Japan to speak, luckily I met this guy called Robert Kiyosaki. But of course, when I met him, it was a very short conversation, take a photo and so on. So what I did was years ago, I read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think some of you may have heard before. And he has this quadrant called EBSI. EBSI, right? Employee. Yeah. Self-employed. Yeah. Employee is like everyone draw a salary. Yeah. Self-employed, insurance agent, real estate agent. EBSI, business owner. Jack Ma, a business owner. I, and then investor. So if you look at this list, you realize that every single one is a business owner. Yeah, which is this. Yeah, so they run the business, started a business, they run the business. For example, this guy, if I remember correctly, months ago he came to Singapore, one of the richest men in the world. And he founded this brand called LV. LV, business owner. Yeah, business owner. So at this age, they're still working, but their money is so much, I think they are just working to pass time. Then there's another group, right, called investor, which is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett. So most of us start off as E, right? Some may go through S, then followed by B, then followed by I. But today, I'm going to give you a shortcut. So we're going to start from E, bypass all these, right? And then jump from E to I quadrant. Yeah, so that our investment, our retirement is within reach. Okay, huh? So very important, right? So Warren Buffett has talked about one investment instrument, but he said in a very vague term. And later I'll give you something very specific. So Warren Buffett was saying, oh, if you are a layman and so on, you should consider putting 10%. So out of 100%, 10%, right, in a short-term government bonds. And in our context, it could be SGS bonds, or it could be Singapore government bonds. Yeah, 10%. And the remaining 90%, which is really a lot, right, into a very low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Now, this whole sentence is very long. And if some of you have heard my previous speech before, you just pardon me, right? Because I really need to explain this. Then I share with you the 6 investment idea. Okay, huh? Now, for this long sentence, I have to explain bit by bit. Yep. The first one, I have to explain what is an index. Then I have to explain what is index fund. Then I have to explain what is S&P 500 index fund. And then I'm going to explain what is a very low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Yeah. So before that, I'm just going to play a very short video. So pardon me if I escape, right? Pardon me as I escape. Now, remember, I'm going to play a video, and before the session, actually, we have tested out the audio is okay. Now, if something is not right, no sound, right, can you just type in the chat? Okay, So let me just share first, give me a second, right? Yeah, hang on. So while I pull out the video, right, so that all of you can see, just give me a second, right? Yeah, so I need to maneuver a bit, pull out my website and so on. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, ready? I'm going to share screen, right? Share. I already checked the sound. Okay, so you go something like this. So remember, if there's no sound, then you just type in the chat. If there's sound, then you don't have to type anything. Okay, very good. So let me just increase the volume on my side. So I'm just going to refresh the screen and you'll start. Okay, ready? Ready? Okay, I'm going to play. Here it goes. Good. Good. Goes. Okay.
Consistently buy an S&P 500 low-cost index fund. Keep buying it through thick and thin, and especially through thin. Because the temptation gets, when you see bad headlines in newspapers, maybe to say, well, maybe I should skip a year or something. Just keep buying it. American business is going to do fine over time. The Dow Jones Industrial Average went from 66 to 11,497 in 1 century. And since that century has ended, it's more or less doubled again. The trick is not to pick the right company. Most people aren't equipped to do that, and plenty of times I make mistakes on that. The trick is to essentially buy all the big companies through the S&P 500, and to do it consistently, and to do it in a very, very low-cost way, because costs really matter in investments. If returns are going to be 7 or 8%, and you are paying 1% for fees, that makes an enormous difference in how much money you have on retirement.
Okay, so that's Warren Buffett. Let me just pause here for a short while. Now, the video looks short, and actually the video is free. Yeah, free. I mean, it's on YouTube and so on, right? But what he shared makes sense. So let me just summarize what he said at this point, right? He shared a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Yeah, so this whole sentence. So that you know my slide, right, has not been taken out of context. Now, then he shared the next part is you have to do it consistently, through thick and thin. Yeah, so when I say through thick and thin, that means to do it when the price goes up, thin when the price comes down. You do it. You cannot like try to time the market. Yeah, try to time the market. You up, you buy, down, you buy, up, you buy, down, you buy. Which is why just now I saw one graph, right? There's only one direction, which is up. So this is very important. If we didn't follow what Warren Buffett said, we're going to make a huge mistake. Yeah. So let me just go back to my slide over here. I put it to full presentation mode. Yeah, over here. Yeah, so this is the Warren Buffett says. Okay, So what did he say again? Again, up and down, thick and thin, and then a low cost S&P 500 index fund. So I'm going to share with you what's the index first, then what's the index fund, and then what's the low cost S&P 500 index fund. Then I'm going to share specifically what are the index fund that I invested over the years, because I'm getting old, so I've been buying all this for quite some time already. So here it goes. So what is an index? Now, if you look at the stock exchange, right, you realize that it can be found in almost every country, including developing ones. In Singapore, with SGX. In Malaysia, I think they have their Bursa, right? A stock exchange. In Japan, in which I just came back, Tokyo Stock Exchange and so on. So almost every country has their own stock exchange. And of course, a stock exchange, as the name implies, stock exchange is where buyers and seller go to this entity and then exchange stock. Exchange stock. Because I buy from you. Sell, you sell to me, exchange stock exchange. So in order for a stock exchange to have stocks, right, to be exchanged, companies need to be listed by going through a process called IPO, which stands for Initial Public Offering. Yeah. So of course, in years ago, companies like McDonald's may be listed, IPO, Microsoft, and so on. And of course, recently we got all these unicorn and so on, right? So boom, over time, instead of just one or two companies, boom, there are thousands of companies. And if you look at, let's say, Tokyo Stock Exchange, there are 3,000 over companies that are listed. In NASDAQ, all this, also thousands. So there are thousands of companies. Now, I just have to highlight to you and warn you, right? It requires quite a bit of knowledge as well as experience to do individual stock picking. Yeah, so I don't want to make it sound easy. Like, for example, if you want to learn how to drive a car, I mean, it doesn't mean that today you read a book, like you read a book, right, on car driving, and then suddenly tomorrow you can drive a car. Yeah, so of course, for those people who are driving license, first thing, you have to take a theory exam. Yeah, but theory is theory, right? You still cannot get a driving license. Then, of course, then you have to take the practical course. And even if you got theory practical, you still have to drive the car out to the road, not within a driving school, but out to the road. So first time is actually quite scary. It's like first time if you haven't buy stocks, you buy stock, very scary. Because you do not know what's happening, what to expect. People may horn at you, give you middle finger and so on. Which is why the first time when you got a license, you need to get the triangular plate for 1 year. Like a probation, right? And so investing is the same. You need someone to be beside you. And of course, in Singapore, I have my own company called Value Investing Academy. I've been like walking alongside with our investors for the past 13 years. Which is why if you go to my YouTube channel, they always say quite a bit of good things. Yeah, so let's come back to here. Yeah, so individual stock picking require getting like a driving license. So you need to be very experienced. So which is why Warren Buffett suggests to buy a low cost S&P 500 index fund. But what does it mean? So remember, I'm supposed to talk about index first. Yeah. So if I use US market as an example, right? US market, wow, it's so huge. There are many companies. So Warren Buffett was suggesting essentially just buy a group of good companies. Yeah. So let me travel back in time. In the early days, right? For example, let's say analysts, they wanted to have a feel, right? Whether it's the market, a bull market, which is the picture shown on the left, and a bear market, which is on the right. So what they did was they need to have an indicator to know whether is it a bull or bear market. So what they do in the early days is they go to each sector. US market has 11 sectors, IT, healthcare, consumer discretionary, and so on. So they go to each sector, right? And then they pull out some big representative company, and then let's say they put in a container as an illustration. So let's say IT sector, pull out some good one, put in a container. Healthcare sector, pull out some good one, put in a container, and so on. So they go through the 11 sectors. So after they go through 11 sectors, you realize that in the container, right, there are many companies right now. But at least this number of companies is lesser than everything because they already pre-selected, right? Yeah. Yeah. But inside the container itself, there's still a lot of companies. So what does analysts do? We were thinking much as well, I take the prices of each of these companies and then average it up. So which also means that if the average share price go up, the entire stock market is a bull market, which took place until 2021. Yeah. Then 2022, right, was a bear market, which also means that if the indicator go up, bull market, 牛市. Yeah, bull market because the bull has two horns, right? It point upwards, bull market. And then bear market, right, which is 熊市. Yeah, the bear, right, when it stands up, want to fight with a prey, right? The movement of front leg always swipe down. You never see a bear do uppercut, so always swipe down. So bear market, so bull and bear. Indicator go up, bull. Indicator comes down, right? Is a bear market. Now, but this indicator sounds quite lame because if you tell people indicator, like you're not professional. Yeah. So this indicator, right, actually has a name, and the name is simply called an index. which simply means that in US, if the index go up, bull market, in Singapore, right, if the index come down, it's a bear market. Yeah. So many countries have different index. In Singapore, we have our own Straits Times index, which represent 30 big companies. Our market is very small, 30. And Chinese is called 海峡时报. And then we have Standard & Poor, which is the US, right? Yeah, you can see S&P 500. Remember? Buffett say 500 companies. US is very big. Yeah, and then they have Hang Seng Index, Hong Kong. Hang Seng 指数. Okay, so it's Hong Kong and of course Nikkei 225. Now, every country, they have their own index. But remember, right? Not all index are created equal. Some index are really crap. Right? So, but let's talk about what's the index fund. Now, remember just now we talked about the index where they go to different container and so on. Yeah, but remember, right? The companies that's found inside this container forms an index, yes, but you cannot invest in the index. And that is just for a recreation purpose, for conversation, for analysis. It's an academic talk. Yeah, you cannot buy S&P 500 index. You cannot. But there is an index. So what happened is in the early days after index was created, some fund manager, FUND, right, wanted to mimic after this index. It simply means that if, let's say, right, this container has 500 companies, they will start a fund, yeah, that uses the fund to buy 500 companies. Yeah, so 500 companies, they'll use the fund to buy 500 companies. It's 400, they'll use the fund to buy 400. And if this container has a company called Apple, they'll use the fund to buy Apple. And if Apple takes out 2%, they use 2% of the fund to buy Apple. So in other words, the fund copies after the index as shamelessly as possible. So usually it's not 100% perfect, but it's about 99.98 or something like that. Almost perfect. So which also means that if the index price goes up, the fund that copies after the index has to go up, right? Yeah. So same thing, if it comes down, of course, the fund has to come down. So this, remember, you cannot buy an index, but you can buy an index fund. So now the question is, what is the name of the fund that models after the index, right? It's simply called index fund. And I use this picture, is last time this Japanese singer, right, sing a very silly song called Apple Pen, Apple Pen. I don't understand why, but anyway, index fund, then become index fund. So at this point, what does it mean? It simply means that we cannot buy an S&P 500 index. We cannot. But we can buy an S&P 500 index fund, which is recommended by Buffett, right? So this index fund sometimes is also known as an ETF or exchange traded fund. They're used synonymously, which also means that you cannot buy an S&P 500 index, but you can buy an S&P 500 ETF. Okay, so now you understand, right? So where are we today? Buffett say, oh, you must buy a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, right? Yeah, so the only missing piece is in front, right? Is a very low cost. We're going to come to that. So right now, you should understand S&P 500 index fund. Okay, got it, right? But remember, not all ETFs are the same. This one is from Japan, a bit crap. A bit crap. And if you look at our own local one, right, which is Straits Times Index, not bad. I would say not bad. And this one trades all the way back to 1990s. Yeah, 1990s until recent, right? The annualized compounded growth, right, is about 7.9% per year. Of course, moving forward, it could be higher, lower, but it's around here. Let's wrap it up to 8%. Now, remember, with dividends reinvested, if you don't reinvest the dividend, it may be a bit lower. So if you look at, let's say, round up to 8% per year, not bad, And assuming that, let's say, I will buy STI ETF today, and then assuming that, let's say, in the past 8%, I think it was good. 8% can beat the inflation, and then still got a few percent left. Now, bear in mind that we must follow Warren Buffett's recommendation. You buy through thick, which is where it goes up. You buy through thin, buy through thick again, buy through thin, and so on. So average, if you draw one line that cuts across, it only has one direction, which is up. Yeah. Now, so that's STI. And for example, right now, there are many companies that provided this, but years ago, the first company that provide, right, an autopilot investing method, which is what Alex was saying in the introduction, right? Using 100 Sing dollars. Now, 100 Sing dollars, I think better write it here. You can get started, right, to invest in Straits Times Index ETF. Yeah, ETF. So it's quite easy. For example, if you have a QSV or DBS account, including UOB, OCBC, you can do all this. Right now, even Philips Securities, as well as there's quite a number of iFAST, all this. So right now, a lot of competitors can do this fractional investing ETF. Fractional, you can buy a fraction using 100. For example, in iFAST, you start with 100, and then you buy in multiples of 50. So 100, 150, 200, and so on. Autopilot. And the autopilot way is you do it by a method using something called dollar cost averaging. Yeah. So as of now, right, one investment idea out of 6. Yeah. Yeah. But Warren Buffett didn't say a STI ETF. He specifically said S&P 500. So why S&P 500 and not STI? Here is quite very important. Remember, in the short term, it goes up and down. But in the long term, like what Zhang they say, right? Long term, if you see very far, right? Yeah, if you do better and better, right? There's only one direction, which is up. Which is up. Now, for S&P 500 is more superior in terms of past return. It's about 2% more because STI is about 7.9, this is 9.9. So let's wrap it up to 10%. Now remember, with dividend reinvested, So of course, 7.9 and 9.9, I will take 9.9. Why should I take 7.9, right? But in the early days, when I was much younger, I didn't know. Yeah, so S&P 500 is, for me, is really considered as a good instrument. So now the question is, where do I get this 9.9 from? Remember, I promised to provide you evidence. So what I did was I went to Warren Buffett's company, which is called Berkshire Hathaway. I went over there and I downloaded. Yeah, there's this letter, right, called Letters to Shareholders. Letters to Shareholders for Berkshire. So later on, if I have time, I'll show you where the website is. So you go over there, you click on Letters to Shareholder, and then there are many years. And I select the most recent year, 2022. Because 2023 is still not completed yet. So with the latest 2022. So you may see that here it says compounded annual gain. Annual is 1 year, right? Since 1965 to 2022. Remember long term, then you have a good gauge. For S&P 500 is 9.9%. And for the entire decade, spanning from 1964 to 2022 is 24,000. That's a lot, But you can see the one beside is even better, which is Warren Buffett's company, 19.8, about 20%. 3.7 million. Yeah, I don't mind sharing with you. I have both the S&P 500 as well as Warren Buffett's company. And it has helped me make quite good money over time. And I buy, I sleep. Yeah, you see, I don't want to spend time in the early days when I was doing day trade to monitor share price. If it's something bad, every day you see also no use. If it's something good, right, you sleep on it. Then 10 years you wake up, you forget password. You log in, how come you suddenly make money? Yeah, that's the kind of life that I want when I get older. I don't want to go and monitor share price, I should spend the time and better do other things. Better do other things, right? So why S&P 500? Let me share with you empirical evidence, at least based on historical facts. Now, remember I lived through the .com. That was 23 years ago. 23 years ago, right? 24th March, S&P 500 index was the highest point. And then it fell to about maybe 50%. Yeah. And the interesting thing is for S&P 500, it always recover. Always. The keyword is always. And there is no exception. And if you notice when we recover back, don't say go higher, just the same peak to peak. Yeah, is 100%, close to 100%. This is .com. Let me share with you global financial crisis. Yeah, 2007. If you are old enough, you have lived through this. 12 October, 1,500 points, fell by about 50%. But this time around is quite interesting, right? This time around, it didn't recover just back to its original peak. It went up higher. So as of today, when I updated my slide, right, it's 525%. Yeah, and then what do you do? Nothing, you buy, sleep. Yeah, that's the kind of things that I want. And that's how Warren Buffett make money. Remember, there are only two types of rich people. They own businesses, and you can own business by being entrepreneur. You can own business by investor. Yeah, so as I grow older, I don't want to go and look forward to CDC voucher and all that. Yeah, I want money to work for me. Yeah, work for me, So 525% for doing nothing much. And if you look at the most recent crisis that we have, which is very short, right? That took place when the pandemic came. So it falls about 33%, but it went up by 91% as of today. Yeah, so remember, there's only one direction, which is up. Yeah, but let's take a few steps back and look at the entire historical fact all the way back to 1950s. So huge amount of data to substantiate that it works and also give you confidence. Now, you look at all this, remember, we have to, like some may what say, I must look at the long term. So Warren Buffett is also a long-term investor. And all the richest people in the world are long-term. Jeff Bezos. I mean, yes, he started Amazon, but he didn't become rich overnight, right? Yeah, it took him years to establish Amazon to what it is today. So everything has to be long-term. Long-term, easier, direction up. Yeah, for selected ETFs. And if you look at all this, which is right at the bottom, do you see during the bear market when it was at the bottom or economic crisis, US went through a lot of crap, right? Yeah, and then recently I think there's a credit crunch again. Yeah, and then somebody sent a message, asked me all this. Like, so actually, I don't pay attention to all these things. The key thing is you go through thick and thin. And again, the long term, there's only one direction, is up. So let me share with you some observation. This slide is very important, right? So after I share with you this, please, I'll pause for a couple of seconds. You can do screenshot. You can use a camera to take a photo. Okay, ready? Some lessons. So what are the lessons that I've learned? Now, after every bear market is always followed by a bull market. And I shared this, I provide evidence, historical facts since 1950s. Okay, interesting. After every bear is always followed by a bull. Yeah, so in other words, every 50% drop will follow by 100% gain, at least. Now, next one, historical fact, right? Yeah, bear market is usually shorter. So in other words, if bear market is short, then the bull market has to be wrong, right? Okay, so bear market 9.7 months, bull market 2.7 years. Wow. Later I share with you what's the opportunity. Now, every bull market is usually higher than the previous bull, which is why it goes up, right? Last one, in the last 94 years of market history, only 21% are bear market. So if about 21% are bear market, then the 79% are bull market, which is here. Yeah, so what does it mean? It simply means that if we follow Warren Buffett, buy through thick and thin, yeah, we will make money most of the time, because most of the time it's a bull market. So let me just pause here for a short while. Give you an opportunity to take this photo so that you know whatever I say is based on historical facts. Yeah, not because I think, I feel, or 6 years ago I discovered some secret to get rich quick. Yeah, very important, Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's go, let's carry on, right? So Warren Buffett say there is no way you can bet against America and win. Yeah, so even though I don't really like Joe Biden, but I like money. Yeah, so don't bet against America. But remember, even though the direction is up, there are a couple of assumptions. You must believe in this assumption, at least based on historical fact. Now, the first assumption is that in the future, right, US will continue to prosper no matter what happens, regardless of who becomes president, whether it's Joe Biden or whether it's Donald Trump or whether it's someone else. So this is something that we assume. And we also assume that we must invest consistently through thick and thin, that Buffett say. And remember, this is very important, right? Because I went through cancer 3 times. Yeah, we must live long enough to see the long-term growth. Which also means that if, let's say, you are attending this class and you're 75 years old, I think ETF not so suitable because it's a long-term game. If you're 75, it's a bit tricky. I wish you good health, but it's a bit tricky because the time is getting shorter and shorter. Okay, so why S&P 500? So other than every 50% drop comes to 100% gain, right? Now, if you look at the components of S&P 500, the entire circle represents, let's say, 100%, right? 25% is predominantly in IT. Yeah, the tech sector. And the tech sector, right, will consist of companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. And if you are going to buy their individual companies one by one, it's going to be quite expensive, Yeah, so for example, if you buy one by one, and here you just buy maybe the top 10, it will cost you 1,008. Yeah, and if you do it every month, that's a lot of money. But what if you can buy all this company and plus the remaining 75% using only Sing dollars, $100? That's really fantastic, right? So how do you do it? How do you do it, right? Is we use something, or rather a method called dollar cost averaging, which is what Warren Buffett is trying. You buy through thick and thin. So in other words, dollar cost averaging consists of 2 key components, which is a fixed amount of money, which is the $100 that me and Alex were saying, over a fixed time interval. Yeah, so the fixed time interval, it can be every month, it can be every 3 months, it can be every 6 months. And the worst case, if you do not have enough money, right, you can do it every year. Yeah, but my suggestion, sorry, I cannot use suggestion. Let me see how I phrase this. But if I could turn back time, right, what I will do is I will buy a fractional, yeah, using some iFast platform or whatever platform, right? So that every month you autopilot autopilot, use gyro, pull $100 out of my account and autopilot invest in S&P 500. Okay, so this is an illustration where it's fixed time interval every year, fixed amount, $100. Yeah, this tool is very important. You cannot time the market, right? If you time, it's no longer the method that Warren Buffett said, dollar cost averaging. Okay, I got it, right? So during my era, right, many years ago, I accidentally come across this company called Dollar Dex. Previously, it was owned by Aviva, and as of now, as we speak, it's owned by Singlife. I have to describe this. This is quite important so that you know this company is not fly by night. Yeah, and they have no fees because $100. For example, iFast, I think they charge $1 US. $1 US is $1 US out of 100 is already more than 10%. So not so wuhua, right? Not so wuhua, huh? Yeah. So let's come back to here, huh? But this fella, right? No cost. Not bad, huh? So many years ago, I opened a brokerage account with them, and of course, gyro. Me and my wife we have an account. And in the early days, they allow us to set up sub account for my kids, and when they were still like a preschool, lower primary, and so on. So we have been doing this for a very long time. Yeah, and it's good for me because I'm going to use the investment money, right, to pay for my children's future education. I don't want to work for their future education. I'm getting old already. Okay, huh? And inside this dollar dex, there are many funds because they are like a DIY platform, right? But there is only one specific fund. Now, if you may, as I speak, I can take a photo of this. So inside there are thousands of funds. There's one fund, right? Specific name is called Infinity US 500 Index Fund SGD. There's a USD, huh? USD, right? But for me, I use the SGD. Easier. So every month, 100 US SGD go in, then it's 100 SGD. So you can see, remember, medium to long term, it's not a short term game. They mimic after S&P 500 index, right? Via Vanguard US 500. Okay, so I pause it for a short while in case you want to take a screenshot. Now I'm speaking a bit fast because I'm going to leave some time for Q&A. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, got it. Yep. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. There's a picture about this hand, right? So in other words, if let's say you want to have a step-by-step method, because some people not so IT savvy, right? If you want to have a step-by-step method, right? A hard copy guidebook on how to set this up, how to click and so on, which may require some time, right? Don't worry. At the end of my segment, and my segment, if you want a hard copy, I'll share with you how you can get a hard copy, both for investing in STI ETF as well as S&P 500. Okay, so to copy, right? Hard copy, copy. So remember, I've talked so much, I've covered this. So I'm going to finish up with a very low cost. Okay, very low cost, right? Now, STI, which is at 7.9% data in the past, it doesn't project in the future, not necessarily future will be 7.9, but at least based on past 7.9, right? The S&P 500 index fund, and right now I'm going to add a low cost, very low cost, right? There are only 3 as far as when I Google. One is called VOO, which is a Vanguard S&P 500 index fund. IVV is by a company called iShares. SPLG, I think it's Invesco. Later on, I can Google. Yeah, so these 3, right, are specific examples of a very low cost S&P 500 index fund. But of course, some people, they say, okay, then how about SPY? Now, SPY, yes, it's a S&P 500 index fund, but it's not a very low cost S&P 500 index fund. Yeah, so it's different. And how do you know low cost or not low cost, right? It's because for ETF or index fund, right, a cost is represented by this term called expense ratio. The higher the number, the more expensive it is. So for these 3 index fund or ETF, is 0.03% expense ratio. For SPY, right, is 0.09, which is 3 times more than 0.03, right? Yeah, yes, it is an S&P 500 index fund, but it's not a low cost. Yeah, so I didn't buy SPY. Didn't buy SPY. So if you are interested in this S&P 500, there are 2 ways you can do it. Autopilot, you can use Dollar Dex, iFast, whatever platform they are very familiar. And of course, for me, a bit cheapskate, right? I look for platform that's very low fee or no fees, so that it becomes really a low fee, a low cost S&P 500 index fund. So autopilot, then you can do it manual. Manual is quite capital intensive because VOO is about 400 plus US dollar. IVV is about 400 plus US dollar. SPLG, I think is 40 plus. Yeah. So let me share with you what I own. It's just for illustration, right? Yeah. I have SPLG. And I have SPLG because I encourage my kids to give me their pocket money so that I buy S&P 500 for them. And I used to I use the money to buy SPLG. Yeah, because their pocket money is not a lot. So I buy one, right, where it's about 40 plus per share. Yeah, then my own, right, I invested in VOO, Vanguard. So I also do the dollar cost averaging, autopilot, a dollar DEX. So in other words, I do this and I also do this. Okay, so how many ideas already? You can see 4, right? STI 1 and then plus 3 is 4, right? Yeah, so got 2 more, huh? 2 more, huh? So is there something else where the performance is more than 10? 10 is actually fantastic, and 10 actually beats more than 90% of professionally managed fund, which is what the title is all about for this talk. Yeah, but I'm going to share with you something that can even beat this 10%. What is it? So let's go. These two are the most interesting one. Okay, ready? Now, if you look at this graph in which I've just updated today, 27 sec. Yeah, VOO, right? Now, VOO 10% already not bad. Right? Now, bear in mind that I'm using a 5 years data. If I put this, it becomes inaccurate. Unfortunately, I cannot choose like 10, 15, and so on. So based on the past 5 years data, do you see VOO, right, which is represented by the blue line? The price has gone up by 47%. 47%, right? But there is another interesting ETF. Okay, remember this is outside what Buffett say. This is my own personal thing. Yep, I realized that there's another ETF called mode that's 60%. Yep, so you can see historical fact. Okay, 60% mode beat the VOO. Yeah, and this mode is managed by a company called Morningstar. Morningstar, the full ETF name is called Van Eck Morningstar. Yeah, something else. Yeah, so this is a mode. Yeah, so in ours, I VOO, I have SPLG. I use the dollar DEX. You can use any other things to do autopilot, and I also have mode in my portfolio. Yeah, so just now was 5 years, but remember I said we have to look at long term. If you look at long term, let's say 10 years, you see this mode, right? And S&P 500. See, long term, 13.53%. S&P 500 is still okay, it's still okay, you know what I mean? But this one is better than this by 1%. So it all depends on whether does it matter to you. If you treasure every 1% over span of 20, 30 years, is compounding, right? It's actually quite a huge impact. Yeah, quite a huge impact. And of course, in case you ask, Cayden, why don't you just whack your money into mode, right? It's because I do S&P 500 first. And mode has a very short history. This fund has a very short history. So I do S&P 500 first. Then after that, when I discover mode, I realized that not bad, all the companies that are selected have a wide mode. Yeah, mode in Warren Buffett term is a durable competitive advantage. Yeah, so I bought S&P 500 much earlier. Then after that, there's something. So I don't want to go and sell. So I add in more money and I focus on mode. Got it, And what does mode have, right? Yeah, so Morningstar, Van Eck. Yeah, Morningstar, right? They take their own stocks, which has a white mode. So these are the companies that they felt there's white mode. Or some of these may be very familiar, but some of these like service now never heard before. Alarm research, right? I also never heard before. Give me a second, right? Let me just plug in my electricity here. Hey, give me a second. I realized that I didn't plug in my socket. Give me a second. I just play safe. Let me turn on the switch. Okay. Yeah, my computer should be charging away. Okay, very good. Yeah, I just escaped for a short while to see whether it's my computer charging. Yep, it's charging. Oh, low bat. Luckily, I discovered earlier. Okay, let's come back here. Let's continue the lesson, right? Wow, so today quite interesting. My computer didn't work, which is, see, my computer quite new, right? And then, okay, the plug-in. So remember, that's a short term, right? Long term, all things will come to pass. Yeah. And if you want to know what's the exact holding, you can click on this download all holdings over the right-hand corner. It's public information, and you can download all this. You can see, wow, so many, right? So what does it mean? It simply means that if you buy one mode ETF, which is actually an example of a stock, you're buying a basket of sure. Then you can see, right, out 100%, or Meta forms 3.98% out of this 100%. Okay, ETF, it's quite useful too. Yeah, so mode, right? Yeah. So here, just now, I think past 10 years, it was about 12%, and then mode is about 13%. STI is about 7.9. Okay, Don't worry, later I'll have a summary tab, so don't worry, And remember here, you can do auto, you can do manual. So how many ideas already? 1 plus 3, and then here, 5 already, Yeah, so I'm going to bonus. Yeah, bonus out. Add one more. Add one more, right? So is there another ETF that is better than 30%? Wow. 30% is really quite good, Because 10% you already beat most professionally managed fund, right? Is there something bigger than 13%, which is more. Okay, have. Yeah. This is an ETF, right? Called QQQ. QQQ, and the fund manager is called Invesco. So let's look at the 10 years. Unfortunately, they don't have 15 years or 20 years. Yeah, 10 years. You see, Invesco is 18.55, right? S&P, remember, is about 12% for the past 10 years. So in other words, Invesco beat Mode, and Mode beat S&P 500. It's like last time when I was young, I played this animal chess. Animal chess. What are the animals? Cat eat mouse. Then tiger eat cat. Something like this. So Invesco QQQ eat Mode. Then Mode eat VOO. S&P 500. Not bad, huh? So this is the number. And if you put it to visual, right, you can see. S&P 500, this is the baseline, S&P 500, S&P 500. And on top, right, is QQQ here. QQQ. There's also one Nasdaq 100. So they overlap the line, but it's okay, it's almost the same. Let's focus on QQQ and this 500. Also QQ beats here, right? But remember, you only start to beat maybe, but because it's 10 years. Or 10 years ago, I think do not have sufficient data. Okay, huh? Now, so right now I put 3 in place. Now this is quite interesting. If you want, maybe I give you 5 seconds to take a photo. QQQ, eat Mode, Mode eat VOO. And the ROI for the past 5 years, this is called Google Finance. You can use Google Finance to do some comparison. You can also put individual stock or individual stock. Now, one thing I can share with you, do pick not easy. You buy a basket, it's much easier. So yeah, I give you 5 seconds to take a photo so that you have empirical evidence that what Cayden say is true. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this screenshot is done this afternoon. So 1 QQQ is about US $392. But remember, you cannot complain that it's expensive because you buy one, you buy a whole basket, right? So for QQQ, right, how many that they have? It's about 100 stock. Here it's 101, but it's about 100 stock. So what are the stocks over here? Now, so I was trying to do a comparison, going back to this, right? I mean, how come this QQQ can beat Mode? Yeah, and I realized that the reason why QQQ can beat Mode, because most of their stocks are technology. Do you see here? 61%. Remember, S&P 500 is about 25, right? So I realized that the higher the technology sector, right, is found in the ETF, the higher the return. Now, which also means that because technology sector is very volatile. Volatile means when there's a price swing, right, it swings a lot. Yeah, if it's up, it ups a lot. It downs a lot. So you have to be very patient, long term. Buy through thick and thin. Get ready, right? So in other words, in the ETF, the bigger the percentage of this technology sector, the higher the return. But of course, that also means the higher the price swing. Higher the price swing. So remember, these are the top 10 holdings. Most of the companies are United States. Yeah. If you want to have some China exposure, there's a little bit over here. Yeah, and of course, most of it are tech. And that's the reason why it's able to beat S&P 500. Yeah, QQQ, right? So let me just summarize. Done already. QQQ, it was about 18%, right? Based on the past 10 years. So right here, past 10 years, right? Mode is about 13%. Yeah, VOO is about 12%. Okay, STI in the past are about 7.9%. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, can you please take a photo of this? So this is the summary. This is a summary. Now, I do not have QQQ, but I have other IT-related ETFs. Yeah, I don't have QQQ. Okay, so I have Mode, I have VOO, I have SPLG. SPLG is for kids. Okay, got it? Now, 18% is really quite good, but some of you will be saying, hey, Cayden, I want more than 20%. I want more than 18%. Okay, so if your desire is to have more than 18%, right, QQQ, I will have to manage expectation. Yeah, if you want to have more, right, there is no other way out but to know more. Yeah, there's no such thing as you don't know anything. Watch a YouTube video. Some people ask you to buy Palantir, PLTR, then you will buy, and then you become rich. It cannot be. If it's so easy, right, our Deputy Prime Minister, Lawrence Wong, don't have to increase 1% GST. They just take all the National Reserve. Yeah, recently, our Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong talk about National Reserve. Right? They buy National Reserve, watch a YouTube video, Palantir, and then just whack. It cannot be. It cannot be so simple. If it's so simple, everybody on the road will be rich. Cannot be. There must be some intricacy. There must be some effort involved. Yeah, but at least it's possible. That's the most important thing. Huh? So right now, right, I'm just going to talk about, but what if there is a way for all of us to achieve more than 20% over the long term using a method that has been around for the past 103 years old, proven, not proven by me, proven by a professor called Professor Benjamin Graham. Yeah, with minimal capital, because you can buy 1 stock, 2 stock, 3 stocks, with no monitoring at share price. I don't look at share price on. Yeah, because the last time when I do trading, look at share price, lose money. What for I see? I'll see also lose money. I think better don't see. And in order for us not to see, we better buy a good business. Yeah, if it's a Sheng Siong, you don't see, right? And it's run by a good management. Yeah, yeah. Okay, there's some questions, so let me finish first. Okay, so just automatic, right? Okay, ready? Yeah, but what if there is a way? Yeah, so before that, let me play a very short video. I'll wrap everything up, and then I think we will have about 15 minutes to a Q&A. There's already one question, so you just hang on there first. Now, so let me just share with you the context of this video, right? Now, the context of this video is this lady, her name is called Monica. And of course, she gave me permission to share this, her story. Now, Monica is a single mom. She's a, I mean, I've known her for quite a number of years now. She's a good person. She's a single mom. When I got to know her, right, her son was about P5. Right now, she'll be Sec 3 or Sec 4 already. So it's been quite a number of years. And initially, she also lose money trying to do stock pick and so on, which is a bit difficult. Yeah, so what happened was she accidentally bumped into each other. Now, 5.5 million population in Singapore, I think it's fated sometimes. Yeah. And they bumped into each other in one of our classes, and I talk about a method called value investing, which is used by Warren Buffett and of course Zhang Lei, right? All these are proven methods. All these people are very successful investors. So eventually she applied the method and she was doing quite well. And within Value Investing Academy, right, I gave students a challenge. And this is called a 100K Sing Dollars challenge. You can see 100K at the bottom. So the challenge is they're supposed to have a realized gain of this, right, in any trailing 12 months, in any moving 1 year. And she did. So I, get her story and I share with you. So that to you, it's possible. Possible, right? Now, if 1 year you don't make 100K, even if it's 50K, it's still quite good. If it's not 50K, even 20K is still quite good. Okay, So let me just share this first, then I'll take some question, right? Now, so this is the story of Monica, her 100K story. So here it goes. So I'm going to click, right? There should be sound. If not, let me know. You type in the chat, right? Okay, come out already.
The feeling that you have when you work because you want to, not because you need to.
You should see the video and hear the sound, right?
Hi, I'm Monica, and this is my 100,000 milestone story. I started investing right after I finished the course with VIA. After a few months, I started to earn more than my full-time job. And then I'm already planning for my retirement. Early one. Investing changed everything in my life. Look at this place. I mean, like, seriously, I never even thought that I could stay in some places like this. My previous house, okay, I mean, like, it's a home, right? But you always have a dream to be better, to live better. And with investing, it just accelerates the process. The reason why I end up with investing is because I think freedom is very important. Freedom to be able to choose where, what you want to do, where you want to go, without having to worry, oh, how much do I have left, or whether I have enough for education, for my son, or for what, I always wanted to do something for myself, apart from just the 9 to 5. I guess the saying's really true that when the students are ready, the teacher will appear. So I guess I was at the right place at the right time, and when I do research or Google about VIA and Cayden, yeah. I think the most valuable lesson I learned, actually I already sold when Cayden shared about CFOS during the Masterclass. But then apart from it, the entire 4 days course really equip us with not just knowledge, but the mindset of never lose money in the first place. I think some people think that investment is like scary, or learning how to, it's difficult. For my case, I have no background in investment, accounting, no knowledge. I love numbers, only numbers with the dollar signs in front. And the basic I know is only you buy low, sell high. I mean, even my 12-year-old son knows how to do it. Like, seriously, I was a noob. And I want people to know that it can be very simple. Even having a full-time job, being employed, single mother, juggling with home and work, and I still can do this, then I think anyone can do it.
Yeah, so that's the story of Monica. So let me just share the screen again. By the way, I'm always thankful to our graduates, yeah, who are our customer. But I call them like my friends, because we are quite close, right? So let me hang on there first. Let me just move a bit forward. Okay, good. So this is a summary. Now, in case you are interested, in case you have not attended any of our masterclass and you're interested to pursue the method used by Warren Buffett and of course Zhang Lei, which is a very proven method called value investing, right? So let me just share with you, in collaboration with MarketWise, what are the things that we can help you, to support you, to serve you, right? So we are running 2 on-site. Now this is very important. I'm quite a fella, right? A stubborn fella that I prefer on-site. I want to see face-to-face. Yeah, we are running 2 on-site class. One is going to take place on the 7th of October, which is on Saturday, 10 to 1. Yeah, I put Saturday is because sometimes in the evening a very rush from the work. Another one, if you can end on time, you can also come to our masterclass on site. One is in the evening, 18, which is a Wednesday, and 7th October, which is a Saturday. So the key thing is your time is very precious. Yeah, what are the things that we're going to cover? Like for example, just now we have spent about an hour. I talk about 6 investment ideas, which are proven, long-term. I even give you specific gain, right? The numbers. And of course, this, if you are pursuing something more than 20%, there's no other choice. We need more time. 1 hour not enough. You see right now, like I'm saying very quickly, speaking very quickly. So in this 3 hours masterclass, right, you'll get 3 times the value. Yep, you learn how to generate 3 sources of income even if you know nothing about investing. Yeah, you learn how to invest in minimal capital. Just now I talked about $100 already. And Monica specifically talked about the CFOS, in which I'll share more, right? Yeah, and the best part is you get instant cash. Yeah, there is no other method. Investing always requires time, but this is the only method where you press the cash comes in. And over time, you will be able to accumulate this cash enough to replace your existing salary. So this is the value investing, right? This is the value that I'm going to give it to you. That's provided I see you. If I don't see you, there's nothing much I can do. Yeah, okay, So upon appearing in the office, which is at Shenton Way, right, we will pass you a hard copy manual on how to autopilot invest STI ETF if you're keen. I also pass you a hard copy manual if you're interested in S&P 500, which is what Warren Buffett is saying. So this one no fee. So 2 hard copy, which means that the moment you appear on site, we will pass you this and then this. Then after that, you learn the 3 points, right, that I've just shared. Yeah, and because you invested your time, so in return, just for MarketWise, right, we're going to pass you a hard copy, not an ebook. Hard copy of my latest book, which is called Value Investing Simplified. Yeah, Amazon is selling about $25, and we will also how should I say, buy you copy lah. Yeah, so at the end of the session, only at the end, only until you stay, halfway don't have. Only at the end of the session, right, we have a redemption counter is open. We'll pass you a hard copy, and we also pass you a prepaid card, Starbucks gift card. And inside we deposit $10. So $25 for 10 already 35. Then plus a guidebook and all this. So that when you drink Starbucks coffee, you can read a copy of my book. And my book is not like any other book. Lauren Templeton, which is a very famous value investor in US, once said that I highly recommend Cayden Chang's book, and of course his classes, right, to anyone who are interested in getting started investing. And she put her name, she carried my book. Hey, by the way, this photo not because I paid her, right, and it become a sponsorship. No. She willingly put a book, and this photo is taken outside the house. I didn't pay her for this photo. Okay, yeah. And if let's say you find this very interesting and you want to share with your friends, and you ask your friend, you choose your friends, right, that come for the value investing masterclass. So in other words, if you bring 1 friend, right, 1 friend, your friend will have the book and the Starbucks gift card. But 1 or 2 doesn't matter. But as long as you bring a friend and he or she appear, your friend will also have the book at Starbucks. Yeah, so fair, both of you. But because you spend effort to chill your friend, for you only are not a friend, right? You have an additional of $20. Yeah, $20 an NTC voucher and then $20 a movie voucher. Wow, you can go and see movie, huh? Very good. All on us. Kopi on us, movie on us, grocery on us, and a book on us. Yeah. So these are 3 things. And I will need Alex help to just post the link, huh? Post the 2 link, right? Then after that, we will do some Q&A lah. Yeah. So I'm going to speak a bit slower. Let me see. I still have time. Yeah, I still have time. If you don't mind, maybe I overshoot a bit. My fault, huh? Yeah, overshoot maybe by just a few minutes, huh? So there's a link, and then just click on the link, and then you just register. It's an Eventbrite, quite easy. Just name, mobile phone, email address, and then we follow up with you. Yeah. So I'm just going to wrap it up with just 1 or 2 slides, right? Jason Quack, which is one of our grad, he said he went to many investment courses. Yeah, which is true, because in the market, right, you're bombarded with a lot of garage quick scheme. Don't have lah. I mean, we have to get real, huh? Yeah, value investing is the only one that has a proven 103-year track record that works. So he said that this is the only one I make money. And remember, his face is here. On this face, right? So this is the Jeffrey's face. This is what I've shared. Yeah, let me see. Is there a last slide? Oh, I also include the QR code because in case this video over here, right, is being like retelecast via a recorded version and then you don't see the link, right? So you can use your phone to scan the link on the left, which is 7, and on the 18th October, which is on the right. Let me see any slide. No slide. But I'll leave this thing here. Leave this thing here, right? So the link has already been posted by Alex. Yeah, okay, all good. So while we take the question, you need to click on the link and then register because after the session, no more, the link disappear. Okay, so Q&A, and then we, while you do, so we do 2 things simultaneously.
Yeah, so maybe for the guys, you can just screenshot first, okay? Screenshot the QR code, or you can just screenshot the link for the masterclass first while we proceed for the Q&A. Okay, so if you have any question, right, feel free to answer them, feel free to type that in the Q&A tab over here. Once again, thank you, Cayden, for your wonderful sharing on the index fund over here. Right now, there is one question at the Q&A tab, okay? This is by RL. So he asked what about your views on Hong Kong and China in the long run? Okay, for those who haven't asked question, do type your question in the Q&A tab, okay?
Yeah. So I just share my thoughts. Now, value investors are not economists. Okay, value investors are not economists. So many years ago, I think I read one article, right? But I can't remember who are the exact economists. So what happened was there were a few Nobel Prize winning economists, which can see things in like this, economy, Hong Kong, China, and so on. So they put all these Nobel Prize winning economists together, right, to manage a fund. So these are geniuses. They are Nobel Prize winning, right? So am I to say that if we put all these people which are economists together, they should make a lot of money? You'll be surprised that the fund lose money. Lose money. So what happened? They close the fund. Yeah. So what's my point, right? My point is, if you look at the Forbes richest men list, you will never see any economists inside. Yeah. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say economy, right? If you want to know all these things, it's good for conversation, good to boost our ego, good to make people know that like we're very smart, but it's not very useful for investing. So let me just come back to this question by RL. Appreciate it. So what's your view on Hong Kong and China in the long run? Because I'm not economist, right, it's quite difficult for me to answer specifically what will happen in the future. Yeah. But what we can learn in the past is if you look at China, let's say 30 years ago, and China today, is a totally different China. Yeah. So last time we joke about China, right? Like we come down from the mountain from China, like very swaku, right? But right now China is different. Do you know that recently there are some, I don't know whether is it rumors or fact, that the Americans, right, they go and strip open a Huawei phone, latest one. And what did they notice? They noticed that the chip that is being used in China's mobile phone, is made in China. So all their parts are all made in China. So I think in the long term, minimum, they will definitely stay, China as a whole, as a country, will stay as a second economic power in the world. They will most likely at least still continue to be the second biggest country in terms of the largest GDP. Yeah, US is the largest, China ranks second. Whether it overtake or not, we are not very sure, but minimal, they will definitely be second. But the answer to that question is not very useful, right, in investing. Yeah, not very useful in investing. That means even if there's an economist answer a question which is sounds perfect, right, you also cannot use that answer to go and invest. Yeah, and then go and buy a China ETF. Quite dangerous. Yeah. So let's stick to that 6 investment idea that I shared. Appreciate RL. Next one, Dudu Maduna. What about online classes for those who reside outside your country, which is South Africa? Wow, fantastic, man. I think this one I need to sit down, meditate with Alex, right, for 10 years to see how we can do this. Yeah. No, I mean, I've never have a participant from South Africa. And thanks, because about 1 hour plus, right, you try to adapt to my Singlish accent. So far, don't have. I mean, we do not have yet. I will sit down and then talk to MarketWise how we can make this dream come true. Don't have.
Another one in the comment also from Li Shi, okay. Also, I think it's a he or she, I don't know. It's a can't fly to Singapore.
Can't fly to Singapore. Sorry, no online course yet. Yeah, okay. No online, but I will seriously think about this. No online because I'm a stubborn fella. Want to do on site. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cayden will think about it. But meanwhile, the upcoming one that he mentioned on the 7th and the 18th of October, right? It is just to let you know, it's on site. It's a physical class, so you need to be residing in Singapore. Don't happy register already. Realize it's on site. Okay. So yeah, just a reminder, this is a on-site physical masterclass. You need to be residing in Singapore, and I don't think they'll be recording, right?
No recording.
Yeah, no recording. So yep. And of course, I think just now Cayden also mentioned, also coffee on him. You got a Starbucks card, his own book worth $25. Okay, if you bring a friend, okay, it's optional. If you brought a friend, okay, you get additional NTUC voucher and also the movie voucher as well. So yeah, I think it is very worth it. So do register for this event. Okay, I post the link once again in the chat box. Okay, all right.
Yeah. And there's a question by Andrew. Any age restriction? The answer is no. Our youngest participant, right, is 12 years old, primary 6. The parents brought them. Our oldest is age 75. And in Japan, right, when I spoke in Japan, there's even a blind person. Yeah, but so they can hear. Yeah. So no age restriction. You mentioned that older investment does not benefit from value investing. Not that. Maybe I just be more specific. What I'm saying is that older generation, if let's say you're 75 years old today, yeah, and if you want to consider ETF, maybe not so suitable. But there are other things that are suitable, So not so suitable because if let's say I'm age 75, and then Cayden say long term, oh my goodness, long term, if next 10 years is 85, I don't even know whether I can live through the next 5 years. Yeah, so ETF may not be suitable, which is why for seniors, better attend a masterclass, because I'm going to share with you other methods that are more suitable for seniors. Seniors are pioneer generation. Yeah. Jenny say just attend one of the days, right? Yes. Just attend one of the days.
Very important. Yeah. Both classes is the same class. Just that Cayden give you alternative date. So either you go for the 7th or you go for the 18th. Both are the same class. So just register for one class will do. Okay, Jenny. Thank you. Yeah. Any other question from the crowd?
By the way, I like questions.
Yep.
I like questions. Yeah. Please feel free to ask me any question. Alex, if you don't mind, maybe we another 5 minutes. Just now, my fault. I eat into.
Sure. No problem. Just now I was actually like what your audience say, and then Cayden was never late. I was like, okay.
I'm never late. Yeah, I'm never late.
Anyway, thanks for that. You're okay. You are good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Fuching is asking, is this suitable for retirees with no income?
Okay. Now, Fuchi, thanks for the question. Your question has 2 components, right? Let me just address the 2 components. Is it suitable for retirees? Fuchi, if I don't mind, right? You can choose to reply or don't reply. Yeah. Retiree as in, because Singapore official age is 63. So some people may retire earlier, right? Yeah. So are you 63 right now? Or maybe you retire earlier at 50 plus. Yeah. So it's okay while you think of the answer. 63. Okay. Very good. So retiree, I assume that the Fuching and maybe a few of you already 63. Okay, you stop work, you got no income. Okay, so that's one part because usually stated no income. Now, and I will have to make the second assumption. The second assumption is even you are retiring with no income, you have savings. Your savings, But for retiree, like Fuching, right, we have to be very careful with your money. because there's no incoming cash. Yeah. And if you're going to use your savings to invest, you are doing very, 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 very carefully. Because that's the only sum of money, and it's your hard-earned money. If you lose it, then that's it. You do not have. Yeah. So in other words, is this suitable for retirees with no income? The answer is yes. But we have to be very careful with your money. Okay. So yes, but be very careful, which is why we do run classes. You cannot retire no income watch on YouTube and invest. It's very dangerous. Okay. And then there's the next question. Mary go, oh, how much is the masterclass? Oh, I think my apologies. There is no cost. There is no cost to this masterclass. Oh, no catch also. Okay, then there's a question, Joanne, right? What's the view on investing in S-REITs ETF? For REITs ETF, I think if given a choice, REITs ETF and REITs, I'll prefer REITs alone. Yeah, rather than ETF. Rather than the REITs ETF. Yeah, so that is just my perspective. Yeah.
Cayden, it's just a personal question. May I ask why is it that you just prefer in investing in individual REIT rather than just the ETF as well?
I prefer individual REITs because how should I say, because ETFs sometimes they lump the not so good REITs inside.
I see.
Yeah, so I don't want to buy then.
Invest in the best REITs.
Yes, correct.
In your definition, the best one.
Yeah, and in Singapore also not many REITs. There are about 28. So you eradicate the lousy one, actually less than 10. Yeah, okay. So I prefer to do individual one. But again, again, right, to pick individual, I think better learn.
Okay, thanks for your answer.
Okay, the next question is, would be interested in online session for those overseas. So my apologies. I think I'll work out with MarketWise. I think MarketWise has a very huge crowd from overseas. My site is all local one. So I seriously, I have to go back and do some self-reflection.
Some from Malaysia, from the Philippines, Indonesia as well. Yeah. So again, Cheng, sorry about that. This is on-site. Okay, maybe as I mentioned, we can discuss with Cayden in the future and see whether they can come up with an online class in the future. Okay, so for right now, it is an on-site masterclass. And Kelvin is asking, right? So I'm a daily index. I suppose you put scalper, right? Okay, will I be suitable for this lesson? So I mean, he's saying that he is a short-term trader, daily intraday trader.
Yeah. So for Kelvin, my answer is yes. But remember, right, I'm a long-term investor. So let me share with you why I choose long-term. Doesn't mean that short-term is wrong, because last time I also do what you're doing. Yeah. When I was much younger. But right now, as I grow old, right, I got 2 kids. And then I went through cancer 3 times. So my time is quite precious. So I do not want to spend time to monitor share price. This is just my context. This is just my context. Everybody varies, right? So I want to do nothing when I retire, maybe 63 and above. And when I reach a stage, I want to have a portfolio, right, of businesses that work for me. Now, remember, right, the best way to make money is to use money to make money. Because in Singapore context, capital gain non-tax, dividend non-tax, so money to make money. Now, the not so good way to make money is to use muscle to make money. Now, when you're 25, you got muscle, right? When you're 35, you got muscle. You can do all this scalping. But when you reach 50, 60, the question is, do we still want to do this? Or use muscle to make money? Now, make money doesn't matter, right? It's still okay, right? But the thing is, sometimes when you do day trade and then you lose money, then you get upset. Okay, so value investing is suitable for me. I hope that I will see you and introduce to you. If you find that it's not useful, I think that's fine. At least you have the book. You have the Starbucks gift card. Okay, Fu Ching, what's my definition of long term? Long term is maybe minimum 5 years. A business cycle, 5 to 10 years minimum. Yeah. Will your strategies also include cryptocurrency as one possible sector? The answer is no. I'm quite specialized. I do not buy things that do not buy a non-productive asset. So, for example, cryptocurrency, NFT, Forex, all these are non-productive assets. That means when you buy already, they doesn't produce anything. You hold cryptocurrency for 10 years, it doesn't produce anything. And remember, when we buy things, right, we want it to go up, right? Yep, there is no evidence that in the long run it go up because the history is quite short. And the moment there is no non-productive, there are only 3 ways that the prices can go. For example, if you buy here, right, one is you only make money when it goes up, right? If it stays flat, you also lose because of inflation. If it goes down, you also lose. So what's the probability that it goes up? There's only 1/3 the chance. So in other words, the 2/3 chance they're going to lose money. Yeah, so for me, there is no reason why I want to put money into something, right, that have a 2/3 chance of losing and then 1/3 chance of winning. And that applies the same to gold, silver, like what Robert Kiyosaki is saying, right? Cryptocurrency, forex, so on. Remember, that's my opinion. You see whether is my opinion reasonable. Okay, yeah. What else? Tan Ting Chuan say no promo code. Oh, the QR code is a promo code.
Yeah, there's no promo code. So maybe I can just do a screenshot. I understand what you mean. I just went to the website. There's a promo code. You don't need to enter the promo code. You just choose the number of tickets that you want. Then that's good enough. So I try to share screen first. Okay, so
I stop share, right? Yeah, I stop share. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So can you see this Ting Chuan? So there's a promo code over here. You don't need to put anything. You just choose the one pack. Okay, and then you just click register and you'll be brought to the page to register for the event and fill out your details, information, and you'll be registered for the event. So no need to enter any coupon code. Okay, Ken? All right. Okay, I stop sharing.
Oh, stop sharing. Okay, very good. Any, maybe I'll just take the last, maybe 3 questions.
Maybe a last question.
Last question.
Okay. Answer anything, Cayden?
There is one. Thomas, from Thomas. Thomas, thanks for asking, right? How about trading index future? I mean, you can if you want, but I don't. Yeah. So why not, right? Why not? You ask yourself, right? If you have some experience in trading, it's very easy to ask yourself which one works and which one don't. Okay, very good. Let me just write something here. You see, last time I was trading. Right now, I'm a long-term investor. Now, so my take is ultimately, right? What's the purpose of investing, trading, whatever you call it, is we wanted money. Yeah, so all roads lead to Rome. Yeah, so we don't want to lose money, huh? So if you want to make money, right, we ask yourself, QQQ, right, for the past 10 years is 18% per annum. Yeah, if anyone want to do day trade, right, can they achieve this 80% consistently, you know, at least for the past 10 years? Yeah, last time I do day trade before, this is very difficult. Because if we can do this, we'll be one of the top traders in the world. Yeah, it's quite difficult. But being a lazy long-term investor, I think that's easier. But that's for me. So that's one. So we want to make money. The second thing, right, when we want money, we also don't want to sacrifice our time and our health in exchange for money. Last time when I do day trade, right, so what I do is when the US market opens at 9:30, I do day trade until about 3 a.m. Then next day, I do wake up about 7 plus when I go to work. I think this is a bit too much for me as I grow older. So I want money, I don't want to lose, and I want time with my kids. Yeah, so if you find that you want money, you don't lose money, you want more time, then I felt that you can consider exploring the masterclass that I've shared. Yeah. Okay, I think there are 2 questions.
San Ming is asking in the chat box, can I confirm no fee for the masterclass? Yes, there's no fee.
No.
You just go ahead, click on the register button, go through the process. There's nothing to pay lah. So just register for the masterclass. You do need to whip out your credit card or PayPal, whatever it is. So nothing to pay. So just register for it. So once again, I'll post the link in the comments. Joanne Low is asking, can I buy Infinity Index Fund from banks?
I'm not very sure whether banks have or not, but let me share with you who is the owner of the fund, right? Now, the you know the Infinity Fund that just now I saw? Maybe let me just, the Infinity Fund, let me just go back, if you don't mind. I just go here, right? Okay, where's the fund? Give me a second. This one. Now, remember, right, a fund has to be managed by some humans, from a company. Yeah, so the fund manager, right, is actually called Lion Global. Lion Global, huh? And Lion Global is owned by OCBC. Now, but I'm not very sure, like if you've got OCBC account, can you buy this? I'm not sure. Yeah, and then Lion Global, right, allows their fund to be sold or distributed via, different companies. So DollarDeck is one. Yeah, you can also do it via Philip Securities. So if you say bank, the answer is I'm not sure, but you can check. Then one last question. Let me see. I think there's no more question. One last question is regarding a Motley from Motley Crew, right? Do you think there'll be a recession in 2024 in US? I wish I know. Then what I will do is pump me more money when the recession comes. Then I put all in. The unfortunate thing is I do not know, but I do know some of the indicators whether would there be a recession. Yeah. So let me give an example, right? There is one popular indicator which is called a Shiller Shiller PE ratio. Yeah, I can show you where is it. I can show you where is it in just 1 minute, right? This ratio is founded by one guy called Robert Shiller, which is a Yale University Nobel Prize winning economist. Yeah, so he come up with this ratio called Shiller PE ratio, which means that if this Shiller PE ratio is on the high side, usually it's followed by a recession. Yeah, follow a recession. But remember, this is not a cause and effect. It's a coincidental. That means that every time when there's a recession, it's always a preceded. That means something happened before. And if something happened before, right, is this PE ratio is usually high. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that when the Shiller PE ratio is high, it's a cause which will cause a recession. Okay, huh? So let me just quickly share this and then I hand over back to Alex again. So so give me a second, right? I'm going to pull up my website. After this, I'll hand over to Alex because I promised him to finish on time, and he's really nice for me to allow me to do this, right? Just give me a second. This will be the last part. So if you have any question, you can always check with me and our masterclass, right? Okay, so you can see there's this website called Guru Focus, but it doesn't matter. You go google.com, you should be able to see this. And then you Google Shiller PE ratio. Free one. Yeah. Yeah, I just put Guru Focus. Guru Focus is the website that you saw just now, right? Okay, Shiller PE ratio. Yeah, so I'm just going to click here, right? Yeah, you see this graph there. Let me see. This graph is very interesting. Now, remember the graph went up, right? Shiller PE ratio. For example, where my mouse is, do you see is 22? Then this one, right, is 43. Yeah, so the higher the number is always followed by a recession. So it's high number. Yeah, so you realize that the Shiller PE ratio went up, peaked once, then twice, and then 3 times. But there is no recession yet. Even though in the past there is. Okay, so will there be in the future? I do not know. Yeah, I do not know. Yeah. So but the most important thing is to be prepared for the recession with knowledge and with cash. One last question, I hand over to Alex. Where is the venue of the masterclass? Is at 3 Shenton Way. But once you register, my staff, right, tomorrow. Tonight it's not working. Tomorrow she will wake up and then she'll reply you. But let me just write now 3 Shenton Way, right? So 3. The nearest MRT is 03. It's 03-03. Don't worry, once you register, my staff will follow up with you. Okay, with that, I would like to thank MarketWise for always being very supportive, Elena as well as Alex. Then today, it's very case that I missed out.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So once again, thank
Alex.
you, Cayden, for your wonderful sharing on index funds today. So yeah, for those who can't attend the on-site masterclass because they're overseas, I believe you learn a lot on the index funds as well. For those who are residing in Singapore, okay, I do hope that you join the on-site masterclass. Choose one date, 7 or the 18th, okay? And then you will get coffee from Cayden, okay? The book and also the vouchers as well. So all these are free. There's nothing to pay, okay? No credit card needed. Just follow through the registration. Everything, the details will send to you via email, okay, in a future date, okay? All right, so once again, I'll post the link in the comments, okay? I'll be ending this session soon. So before you leave, maybe you can take a screenshot first, okay? Or you can take a screenshot in the